Hey everybody, coming to you from Oracle Park. We're no joke. It's currently raining out there. Well, kind of. It's misting. It's like Bay Area rain, like morning rain, but it's 10:20 at night. And that partially explains, I think, what we have seen here. Not wholly, but it has been humid here. It's been pretty hot by Oracle Park standards the last two homestands. That's pretty normal this time of year. Early September usually is when it gets hot here. We start to get these little bugs everywhere. It's annoying when you do TV. It's annoying in the press box. I'm sure people who are here, you see people in the stands wearing t-shirts, which you wouldn't expect at Oracle Park for a night game. So it's a little bit warm. It's playing a little bit smaller, and this team is taking full advantage. 5 home runs tonight. Third time in the last couple of weeks they've hit at least 4 home runs. Two of those games have come here at Oracle Park. Over the last 6 home games, they have 4 times hit double digits. That is the first time since 1962 that they've done that during a stretch like that at home. So this is kind of unprecedented, which makes sense, right? Because a few weeks ago we watched like an unprecedented dry spell here at Oracle where they struggled to score more than 1 run a game. So this is a team of extremes, and right now they're on the positive side of it. They continue to win games. They did a nice job of shaking off 2 losses in St. Louis. And tonight, for the first time in 3 days, they took advantage of a Mets loss. The Mets got shut out in Philadelphia. They lost 1-0. I watched the end of that game. They had 2 runners on at the end, got a couple strikeouts, could not get the tying run home from third. The Giants were aware of that. You know, they pretend they're not paying attention, but the out of town scoreboard here is directly in front of their dugout. They're well aware when they took the field that the Mets lost and they had an opportunity here and fell behind early, fell behind a couple times, but they get 5 home runs. Jung Lee hits one, Dominic Smith hits one, Elliot Ramos with a huge one during that five run rally. Matt Chapman sneaks one over the wall. And then Patrick Bailey caps it off at the 5th home run. It's something we haven't seen here since 2021. That was a team that obviously hit a ton of home runs. This team is starting to get there. And it's something that I think we expected in July and in August because you look at this lineup and Rafi Devers is a 30 homer guy. Willie Adames could be a 30 homer guy here this season. Matt Chapman is someone who should end up in the 20s every year. Elliot Ramos as well. And there's other guys up and down the lineup who can do that. It just wasn't there for whatever reason. We asked Patrick Bailey tonight, like, what's happened here? And he's like, we don't really know, but you don't ask questions. And as Patty said, hitting is contagious. And right now that's the old baseball adage. And that's where they're at right now. I mean, it's the old thing where it's like guys are racing to get up there and hit and contribute to this because they're having a lot of fun. And I think, you look in the dugout, you can see that, especially obviously with Drew Gilbert. When Patty said hitting's contagious, I thought maybe it's because Gilbert's biting people, but he's been a revelation for them. And it seems silly and it seems goofy, and I know we're having fun with it on social media. I know Giants fans are having fun with it, but it really is important. It's something that has brought a little spark to this club and a little bit of extra energy. And they're laughing. You can see Robbie Ray tonight, father of four. He has Drew Gilbert biting him on the shoulder. I did ask him about that, and he's like, it reminds me of when I'm nursing a child, and all of a sudden they're just kind of gnawing on your shoulder there. So he's used to this. You could see with his reaction, he was totally unfazed by it, but they're having fun with it. And Logan said he figures he'll be on the receiving end on Tuesday because Robbie's starting. It is just one of those things that I think, not to get too far ahead of this, but the seasons that are successful, you start to have weird little things like this. You can go all the way back to like the Rally Thong and stuff like that, and in 2012 and Rally Vogie and Rally Zito, and you have these weird things that stick out and become fun. And Drew Gilbert seems to be that version right now, and certainly he's playing good baseball too, so that helps. But that has been a big part of this. Yeah, as Logan said tonight, said there's a ton of energy in the dugout, mostly from Drew Gilbert. 99% of it is from Drew. So he has been an interesting part of this. As I mentioned, Giants are 3 back with 18 to go. They are essentially 4 back because the Mets hold the tiebreaker. One of many issues with that series at the end of July that led to them trading Tyler Rogers for Drew Gilbert and others. They got swept here, and then they take 2 out of 3 in New York, but still the Mets hold the tiebreaker. So they are 4 back essentially of the Mets with 18 to go. But the Mets, you look at their schedule, they're in Philadelphia right now. They have 3 more games against a team that is going to run away with that division. And those are obviously important games to the Phillies as well. They are trying to wrap up the National League East and set themselves up for the postseason. They're set up really well for the postseason. So they're trying to end that race once and for all. And then after that for the Mets, it is the Texas Rangers, who have been red hot. Bruce Bochy can do the Giants a favor. San Diego, Washington, Chicago, and then Miami. So it's not easy. The Giants, it's a lot easier. It's Arizona, it's Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles, you would normally say it's Los Angeles, but they have not played great baseball in the second half. And Arizona actually has been much hotter, but it's a little bit easier for the Giants when you look at Arizona, Los Angeles, and then St. Louis and Colorado at home to finish off this season. I think especially the Colorado part of that, if they can get close before those three games at the end of the year and be a game back or tied, they're in pretty good shape heading into that final weekend. They can move their rotation around a little bit, and I think they would feel pretty good about that with having the Rockies at home. So I think right now that's probably the best case. I mean, the best case is just, you catch them in the next few days. But given that there is a lot of Dodgers on the schedule and they do have a road trip next week, I think being a game back going into that final week when they have a pretty easy stretch here is probably the best case for them. Something else that happened tonight that was important. Obviously, you beat Arizona. They were half a game back of the Giants coming into tonight. Cincinnati lost in San Diego, and the Cardinals lost to the Mariners. So Giants, one of those nights where they pick up ground on everybody that is around them. And I think ultimately you don't have to worry about those teams as much because if you want to get to where you want to get to, you're going to have to pass the Mets and you're going to have to win a bunch of games to do that. But still, it's a little bit helpful when you see these teams around. I mean, these teams are trying to do the same thing, get hot here and win 14 out of 18 or 13, 15, whatever it takes. They're trying to do the same thing. So it is helpful for the Giants a little bit from that perspective to watch those teams lose. I mentioned the rotation. That's one of the remarkable things here is that the Giants have essentially three of their starters right now. Kyle Harrison's in Boston, Hayden Birdsong's in the minors, Landon Root is rehabbing from a knee injury, and it's Webb and it's Ray and it's Justin Verlander, and they have patched it together behind those guys. Um, it's and they've done a decent job of that in part because they're scoring a ton of runs. Carson Seymour got his first win on Friday. Kai Wei Teng did a nice job at Coors. He's been inconsistent. Both those guys have been inconsistent, but I think one thing the Giants can do here, and one thing they talked about today, and Bob Melvin mentioned before the game, is they're going to be a little bit aggressive here. Logan, you saw him tonight go well past 100 pitches. We've seen them do that with Robbie Ray and with Verlander as well. They're going to be very aggressive with their top three guys, and I think especially with those top two. And having the off day on Thursday, they're already talking about potentially skipping, the fifth starter spot and moving Logan up and moving Robbie up potentially and trying to get extra starts from those guys down the stretch. Now that makes it tough if you do sneak into the postseason, but you worry about that when you get there. So right now they do feel like they're in a pretty good spot there. Just wanted to mention too on the way out here, Logan Webb has been talking all year. I mean, I go back to March. I asked him what he wants to accomplish this year. He wants to win a Cy Young. He wanted to strike out 200. That has been his goal all year. He got there tonight. He leads the National League currently with 201 strikeouts. He also leads the National League in innings pitched. As for the Cy Young thing, Paul Skeens has a 1.98 ERA. He gets all the headlines for the most part. I think he is going to be the overwhelming favorite at the end of the season, especially if that ERA is under 2. I mean, that's just it is what it is if you're Logan. It's hard to beat that. It's impossible to beat that. But Logan, I think, has put himself in position now to, possibly have a top 2 finish for the second time in 3 years. He has a very good chance of leading the league in innings for a third consecutive year. He should do that. I mean, he has a pretty healthy lead, and given that the Giants are back in this race, there was some thought that they might shut him down at the end of the year. That's not the case now. He might end up getting extra innings at the end of the year because of the position they're in. And when you look at the strikeout leaderboard, he is 6 ahead of Cease and 6 ahead of Skeens. And those two guys, I think, they have their own reasons potentially to be not as aggressive down the stretch here. I mean, we'll see what San Diego ends up doing and where they end up being in this race. But Logan has a nice cushion in innings and nice cushion in innings pitch here, in innings pitch and in strikeouts as he tries to win both of those races down the stretch. And I think that would put him in a really good spot. I voted for the Cy Young a ton over the years, and I think if you see someone lead the league in innings, lead the league in strikeouts, his ERA is going to be right around 3. All the other advanced stuff, wins above replacement, everything is going to be right there for him. So should potentially be a top 2 finish for him. But right now, that's the conversation for November. Right now, the Giants are focused on trying to get to October baseball, and they have a much better shot than they did a few weeks ago.